There's a lot of things you have to be willing to do that the old world couldn't have imagined. You are a Wastelander. Someone who scours the wrecks of the old world for valuables, which you wield to become powerful. Or, if you fail, just another thing that is either devoured or changed. But the murder, the violence, the horror, the constant demand for deadly competition, if you want to live just a little longer, that doesn't change. War never changes. Everybody, welcome back. For me, maybe one last time to the Idaho Wasteland. We have a new person joining us, so I'm going to kind of describe where you are, describe the bar, and then we'll kind of briefly go through the characters, and then I'll hand it over to Tim, who is playing Horace tonight. So, the Idaho Wasteland. It is, what is 220 almost years in the future, and the world has been devoured by nuclear fire. It has ended as we know it. And you live now in the ruins. You are currently about 50 miles or so, 15, 20, 30 miles, something to the west of Boise, what was once called Boise. In fact, in the distance, in the haze from the lake nearby to the northeast, this kind of like green haze and the wafting sands in the air, you can see spires. You can see high-rises and buildings that are shattered and ruined. Far off in the distance there, it was once a grand capital of the old world. Skipping ahead, all of you are Wastelanders. And last adventure, you found the location of a vault. Horace, are you the vault dweller, or did the vault dweller die? We had a vault dweller and he died, I think.
The vault dweller.
He was what?
Horace is the vault dweller.
Okay, so you are a vault dweller. I
Yes.
leave it to you to tell us the number of the vault you were in and all of its quirks. Of course, every vault is an experiment, so you can go wild with that and tell us. Maybe that horrifies everyone. The rest of you, before you met Horace, who is leading you tonight, perhaps because of his expertise in this. You have only heard that vaults are places of maybe monsters or maybe a paradise. But you know that inside of a vault, it is packed with old world tech. If you can get in this vault and get that old world tech, you will be the richest people in the wasteland, in this place. You will be powerful, and the very knowledge that you have could see you. I mean, it's like knowing, where magical technology is. You have a dangerous secret that you possess. A moment, and then I'll hand it over to you, Tim. It is the 9th of June, 2240. And you are in Peaceful Valley. Peaceful Valley has a gun store, a general store. It has a few bunkers. It has not bunkers, but towers. It has overturned buses and vehicles and connexes that act as a rudimentary wall. A week ago, it saw a raider attack. And you learned during that it is guarded by a series of Protectron robots. You were tonight in the Shawnee Saloon. The Shawnee Saloon has a ghoul bartending with a fancy red bow tie. There doesn't seem to be anyone here that is a Wastelander. It is calm tonight. All of the other Wastelanders that you have seen here before seem to be out on business. And it is the night before. And with that, I hand it over to Tim, to Horace.
Okay. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say that Horace probably was a child and his parents fled the bunker, and we'll call it 86. Um, and so I actually don't know a whole lot of what experiments were being done, but obviously the fact that my parents fled, um, it suggests that something either something from the outside came in or something on the inside went horribly awry and we fled. Um, and so and then we happened to find refuge with a caravan company, and I that's how I picked up that trade. Um,
Okay. So you were tiny. So
yeah.
okay. All right. Briefly, we'll go through the other characters. Norm. In brief, tell us about Norm, especially his capabilities.
Yeah. Norm is a desert ranger, not from Idaho. He's naturally just a spotter. He's pretty good with a scope. Not a big people person, but currently is fled from whatever base he was a part of, ended up here, and has now been scrapping for caps.
Awesome. I am in the hopes that Jesse can join us. Going to introduce Judge. Judge is a gun-toting ghoul that wears a priest's outfit. That speaks for itself well enough. And then tell us about Cole, especially his skills.
Cole, human, wearing metal armor, couple of revolvers, and he's basically he's a demolition expert. He likes creating scrap bombs and setting them off.
Nice. All right, and then lastly, tell us about Spittler.
So Spittler is a human survivalist. I think he's probably just like come down from the mountains for summer. I think his food storage got eaten by a pack of like wild dogs, so he's like really hard up. He doesn't have much, mainly just like the metal armor that's probably like handed down, and he has a crossbow. He's got 5 bolts, so not a lot, but he has a hand axe, and he's quiet, I guess. Doesn't have any firearms, so hopefully we don't hit any robots or anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome on, Jesse. I know you're probably getting settled in from work. Take your time, but we're just going to get rolling. Hop in when you can and join us. This is my friend Ryan. Ryan, this is Jesse. And we've already introduced Judge. We assumed that, if you could make it, we'd have Judge along. So before we pass over Spittler and talk about the plans for the 10th of June, 2024, what is, how many bottle caps does Spittler have?
Currently, none.
Aha. Spittler, if you do not come back with bottle caps, you will not have water to drink or food to eat or a place to sleep. You need to find bottle caps pretty badly. Or perhaps your friends will let you borrow some. It takes about 10 bottle caps to have clean food and water in a settlement. If you end outside of a settlement and you cannot make it back for some reason, you perish in the Wasteland if you cannot make it back to another settlement. Okay. So,
Nice.
Horace, it is the night before your planned expedition to Vault 208. Your robot friend cannot join you tonight. You have your new friend Spittler. Cole has made some explosives. You all have made some preparations. Is there anything that you would like to do the night before? It's a calm night in the saloon.
And there's nobody in there to see. Now we have a few caps between us, where we might be able to afford some help, but it doesn't look like there's any help to hire. But that means more loot to split between us. So
There is one thing you can do in a settlement if you want to spend some money, and that is you can attempt to plop down a bunch of cash to try to get some info. But that's how you find out info other than bumping into whatever's out there.
No, just so I remember right, the package that we got from the post office, it had like a coordinates for Vault 208, right? So we know where we're headed.
It had a map, which sounds more useful than it is because that was for the old world. And so, whoa, you guys still with me? My internet. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So, however, what the map can do is tell you in relation to the highway. So to get to the post office, you go up to that highway and then you cross it, and then there's that little kind of village of buildings there. You know that about a mile up on that highway supposedly is where the vault is.
Okay.
So it gives you a linear feature to follow.
Would Spittler have a wilderness survival as well as the spy skill? Be able to like, hey, I know this area. It's full of death claws. Watch out.
No, you have to find that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you could ask around here, but as these folks have seen, everyone is tight-lipped and not willing to help anybody unless you plop down a bunch of money or threaten to shoot somebody. That's always an option.
And for what it's worth,
you don't have your guns on you, but go ahead.
As a skill, I have kind of a bonus to finding paths and avoid getting lost, knowing roads. So, I think I'm, between that and wait, is it Spittler? Okay, I think we have pretty good navigation sense of, how to get roughly to where we want to go, and then hopefully we can avoid anything perhaps too hostile. I don't think I have enough caps where I can justify, greasing palms to get limited, information. I don't know if anybody else has enough, or if we want to pool some. Anybody have any interest in trying to get some information from townsfolk?
I don't think particularly right now.
Okay.
Spiller,
you don't have anything.
You said you have wilderness survival, is that right?
Yeah, +2.
Wow, +2. Okay, so I agree. So if you guys would do me a favor and remind me of this when it comes up, when you're traveling, and if I mention getting lost, obviously well-traveled, that should be at a +5 for you guys. So if you could remind me of that, don't let me roll that and you're like, you're lost and you're over here or something, and you're like, wait a second, are we lost? Because +5. And then the second thing is on surprise, like an ambush, you have that -3. So don't let me forget that, please.
Yes.
Including in the at an adventure site. Okay, so sounds like you're not gathering info or hiring anybody, and you don't want to talk to any of the NPCs in town. I don't think you've met any yet. So the night passes, and you wake up the next day. I'll describe the area around you. From the peaceful valley settlement, the next day when the sun rises, it is extremely hot. Scorching hot. You can tell that this is going to weigh on you, just traveling in this heat. Traveling in this heat, and we'll assume that you take, as part of the 10 caps that you spent. Now, Spittler, you don't have to spend 10 caps because you just got here. By the way, everyone else, you should subtract 10 caps, right? For the past, or no, I'm sorry, no. Two caps. Because you're only, no, I have it opposite. 5, let's see. 5 out of 7 days, so it costs 7 caps. 7 caps. So everybody subtract 7 caps except Spittler, obviously.
And we each had 200, so it's -7, right?
Yeah, -7 from, and We'll assume though, as part of Peaceful Valley, like you have access to their filter, and you pay for their clean water. That's a big part of being safe and being in a settlement. And you're packing water. Does everybody have a water skin?
Yeah, I have a 1 gallon canteen.
Everybody has a canteen.
Yeah,
I have a
I remember
canteen,
last
yes.
time.
Okay, so we'll assume that you have water, and when you leave, if you leave right now and travel in this, you'll start with 1 fatigue. It is miserably hot. To the west, in the hazy sun, you can see the irradiated mists of the Snake River, and rising up from the west, you can see the steep mountains on the other side of the Snake River. To the east from where you are, you can see other kind of hazy green of irradiated smoke, and some of you now know that's a lake. And to the south is open stretches of desolation, charred and burned out cars and jagged rebar jutting out of the charred earth. That is the Rim Road. That is the domain of the Motor Raiders, the gangs that are a terror for this area. And all of you barely escaped those motor gangs to get into Peaceful Valley. That's probably the case as well with Spittler, who just like the others probably just made it into Peaceful Valley, and this is like, now you need bottle caps. Lastly, to the north. To the north, you can see far out in the distance are jagged buildings and structures of some city. And even the superhighway, the curling structures, many of them turned in and crashed into themselves of large highways. All right. Horace, what do you do?
We're gonna, I think, set out north and head towards, kind of the, near the post office, and then from there onto where we believe the vault to be.
Okay. I'm sorry. You had which direction?
I believe it's north. Yeah.
Okay. Also, is everyone at normal encumbrance, or is anyone burdened?
I am burdened.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
You're burdened.
I'm driving a pack mule or Brahmin, so
do you wanna offload some of your stuff on the Brahmin?
like if there's gear that you don't need to like carry on you for an encounter, yeah, you can store it, because it can hold up to 250 pounds of stuff, and it's holding, I don't know how much it's holding, but
My metal armor alone makes me burdened.
oh well, then never mind. I can't.
Yeah, I'm weak.
So that's a risk you can take. Both weapons and armor, you can decide to offload it, especially in this heat and traveling. But then, of course, if you're ambushed, and the very small chance that you fail that check, you would not have your metal armor on. Totally up to you. I don't want this to be a gotcha or surprise you all. Also about the Brahmin, you can hire an ostler if you want. Hiring an ostler means hiring somebody more desperate than you, because there's no Wastelanders willing to go with you, and there are no mercenaries. So you're hiring effectively a torchbearer that it is in this game. That is someone who will run if there's combat, but they're, you could pay them and they can watch your Brahmin. Alternately, you can just try to, what I call, build the pony your Brahmin, which is to find a place to cache them and hope they stay there.
Okay, that's more my inclination.
Very well. Okay. So we are moving at burdened rate. You can move 10 miles in a day. And you are in a rocky, broken land, so it is 2/3 of that at 7 miles. So, this is what happens. You start traveling north. You are all fatigued because of the heat. Your 2d10 rolls are done with a -3. Let's see here. I'm going to make this roll, and then if I forget the math for it, I will ask you guys. So you get the benefit of that bonus we were talking about. No problem, though. Despite the heat, you're able to keep track and dead reckon the sight of those broken buildings out in the distance. And besides that, you have the lake to your right, to your east. So you just keep trudging on in the miserable heat, footstep after footstep. It is hazy toward the lake and toward the river, but it is just a bleary thermal haze that doesn't break up your visibility. You can see miles out in the distance. So you see that city, and you just trudge on toward it and toward it. Time passes. Let's see. When we get to midday. All right. Midday passes, and I'll describe what you see here. In the distance, about halfway through your day's journey, you can look ahead. You can see that you're not going to make it to those cities at this rate by the end of the day. You're going to pass the edge of the lake out to your right rear, but you're going to be a few miles off away from the town before you make it there, before night comes. So it's midday currently, and you can kind of make that assessment, and you see. The terrain caves in towards like a defile, or like even like a what do you call it when literally it's weird, I can't remember this, but like when a hole just literally appears, a sinkhole. It's like a giant sinkhole, and you're gonna have to probably go all the way around it. And it's going to take another half day to go around this giant sinkhole that's ahead of you. In the middle of that sinkhole, resting as peacefully can be on its side, its back turned to you, bulging, grotesque, deformed muscles in wrong places, in an olive drab green is this massive shape making this and it's like expanding and contracting. And you realize as you look down, this is some kind of huge mutant, and it is snoring peacefully with its back turned to you. And you see one other thing. On the right side of the sinkhole, there is a shack. And you see another Brahmin like yours with its two heads, and it's curiously peering at you from a shed on top of a ledge. And it has two colanders, a colander on each Brahmin head, and it's watching you. What do you do?
Well, I know for a fact we're not gonna go down there. Unless you want to be my guest, but that is not gonna be me. I am not meeting the Lord today. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I am inclined to go to the west, away from that. You know, I'm at the point where I'm thinking, like, you know, like the vault is our goal. You know, not, you know, messing with mutants and, you know, whatever is using a Brahmin as a guard.
Ross, could I possibly roll an observation to see how recently that mutant down there has basically went to bed? Because if we're on our way back, it'd be really unfortunate if that thing was, you know, up and at him.
Well, don't worry about the check. So your intention is to you don't have to roll. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to roll for that. What was your suspicion is this thing maybe going to awake and be up at night and then we don't even escape it?
I think he's trying to gauge like the time it might awaken.
Yeah. So just in case we're trying to like get away, we don't accidentally bump into it.
You don't have to roll for that. Yeah, you're pretty confident that if you trudge off now and you get out in the wastes, you will hear that thing coming. You'll be well away from it, and that won't be a problem. So just to frame the choices here, you could go through the sinkhole, and this thing's huge, like a big defile, and then it's got structures that have caved in, and then this thing is like right in the middle of that pass. To the right, you've got the shack with the Brahmin with the 2 colanders on each of its head. And then to the left, you're going to have to travel an extra half day around. So best case scenario with no interruptions, you're going to arrive on the night of the second day instead of maybe the morning of the second day. Does everybody have food?
I have 8 days of rations, so.
Yes.
Everybody's got food. Okay. Cool. What were you going to say, Ryan?
Is the shack like proportional to the mutant?
Not at all.
Is it like a giant?
And it's a little bit off in the distance. You get the impression that these two things are completely unrelated. You just happen to see them there.
Does it look like the mutant would be able to climb out of this sinkhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And eventually make its way up the steep edges. It'll take a while. You don't get the sense that you're in any immediate danger unless you go down into that place.
Okay.
Come on, we got to warn the people to like move their Brahmin so it doesn't eat them. Can't just. This is a dangerous mutant. That's the law of the land. You got to help out.
Would the owner of a Brahmin please move it out of its parking?
I appreciate you bringing that up too. These two things I didn't give a good enough impression. It's a little ways off. Like these two things, you don't get to. This is not some giant. It's not a titan. It's big. It's bigger than you. It's 10.5 feet tall probably, but it's not gonna like get up and stride like a giant and suddenly step on somebody's Brahmin. That thing is a little, 3 football fields away or 2 football fields. So it's not, these are 2 separate things going on. It's almost like this, right? You're like, gosh dang it. If we want to completely avoid going down into this defile to try to go through that pass and try to get past that thing, we're going to have to go on that ridge. And that ridge, because you're trying to get away from it. So you get on that ridge, you see that Brahmin up there. So these 2 things are separate, and you're also not in immediate danger. And if you just go away from this sinkhole, you're pretty confident you're going to get far enough away from it where it won't be a problem. Any other questions? Yeah.
Because I have my Brahmin that I'm leading. Would I even be able to get it down and get it up out of the sinkhole? Would we? That
yes,
seems
you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, that's a good question too.
Going around to the left. That was my other thing.
Yeah.
Not just mutant.
Yeah. No, you think you can. You think your Brahmin can get in and out of there? Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so any other questions, and then we'll vote. Okay. Let's see. Let me have the wrong thing up here. Horace, sounds like you're thinking take the extra day of travel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Norm.
100% takes the extra day of travel. We're not dealing with that big thing down there.
All right, Judge.
Oh yeah, I ain't going down there.
All right, Cole.
Yeah, same.
All right, Spittler.
To be the 10th dentist, yes, I want to push the button, but I respect it.
All right.
Wait, is it Spittler?
Yeah, Spittler.
Correct.
Right?
Like hawk spit.
Okay, Spittler. I heard something else. But all right. Thanks.
Okay, well, now we get to nighttime. Okay. The good news is that nighttime is peaceful. You find a tract of land that is completely open, and you find another old structure that is a bus stop turned over on its side. you think that this would make an excellent defensive position, and you could see 360 degrees in the night. Do you start a fire, or do you sleep in the cold?
So, as a question, did you say that this land is open with the bus stop?
Yeah.
I don't know if a fire would be a good idea.
Would Spittler with Wilderness Survival be able to make one of those fires like in a hole where you make like another breather hole that's connected, so it's like below ground?
Yeah, actually, I think this is a good use of that skill. You can make that skill check, and then I'll tell you what you're able to do with it. Yeah.
You keep in mind it is at a -3 on top of your other pluses because we're fatigued.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it should just be -1. How do you guys feel about that? Is it a risk? It's just -1.
I would say go for it.
Go for it. It's a 2d10. You know, it's a good chance you don't.
It is a risk. That's a good point too. I should have pointed that out. You can mess this up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Set the Brahmin on fire.
I guess if you roll snake eyes.
-1 to that.
Let's see. You got a 10. That passes. All right. You are not only are you able to improve this position, what you're able to do when like this wilderness survival, we're talking about post-apocalyptic wilderness. So you're able to take the nearby road signs and debris and objects, and you're able to make this kind of like pillbox nest where you're pretty confident that you can mask the heat from a what are these things called? I used to know what they were called. What you do is you create a smoker, and you create this heat, and then it fills that up. So this thing's going to stink, and everybody's going to smell like smoke. That's one downside, but probably no one should see that smoke, and no one will see a fire.
I will just point out, smelling like smoke in the wasteland probably is like cologne. So
yeah, probably is,
at this point,
nice.
Everyone must friggin' smell.
All right. So you sleep through the night very peacefully, setting up watches, whatever you do. Actually, let me check this. Night. And it is pre-dawn. Let's see here. Okay. And when the sun rises, it brings up a thick, I'm sorry, not thick. I should say a thin, glowing smog. This is a phenomenon that the players, I hope for your all sake, have never seen. But this is something that sometimes happens: is that a smog will be brought up when the sun rises, and it pulls up all of the stuff into the air. It's similar to the green haze over the lake, but it is everywhere, and it is slightly glow in the dark. Like everything around you has this kind of glowing quality right now, almost like you're in a reverse image or thermo kind of image, kind of like place. And this glowing smog is all around you, and it makes it harder to see. And so now, the next morning, this is day 2. Everyone should subtract a ration. I'll describe what you can see around you. Having gone all the way around this, you now see, the only thing you can see is you see the wastes where you came from that are open. And then everything else is just smog. You can't make anything out north or south. But immediately to the west is a highway. And it's littered with ruined cars and stuff like that. There are portions of highway overpasses that are just crashed, and they're ripped in two, and like there's rebarb everywhere, but those are the only 2 features you can make out. Where you came from, and you have a highway to the west. To the north is just that glowing smog, and also to the south. Horace, what do you all do?
How is the weather? I mean, is the heat subsided? Are we fatigued still?
That's a great question. I apologize. I should have said that. Because you rested and it's no longer that hot, the fatigue is gone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And do we have a way to kind of reckon where we are in relation to where we, I guess, can we do a dead reckoning like for position?
Well, you tell me. Has somebody been mapping?
Not particularly well. I mean, the road is open, but that works both ways. They'll see us, we see them.
What about don't you have a skill about getting lost?
Yeah, and I do have a skill against, a bonus, to kind of follow a path, but I don't know that it necessarily.
And I haven't rolled that check yet. I will apply that math.
Yeah, which is +5.
Nice. I think we push on through the fog. Like, we know generally where we're going. The west, the road, maybe the raiders.
And plus, we have a kind of map, so we kind of have an idea of at least, like, I imagine where we're going enough.
Is there? How far away is the road? Like a couple miles, or like further?
No, great question. Yeah, it's about a mile and a half or so. It's just at the edge of your sight. You can see.
Could we make it to the road? See if there's a road sign, since we have a pre-war map, and then boom.
You guys want to do that?
Way?
I like that idea.
It's an option.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do that?
I'm game for that. Yeah.
All right. No need to roll for getting lost. You've got a literal road. You're just going towards that. I mean, so you don't need to worry about getting lost. Let's see here. Let me bring this up. I will tell you what you see as you approach the road. Here is a broken blacktop, long since mutated weeds have cracked it. You can only see in places where it still exists. And there's a bridge that goes under it. On the other side of the bridge is a ruined gas station. You see near the gas station a building that looks as if some giant had just took the chunk out of the front of it. Of course, that's not what happened, but it almost looks like it. It looks like it's literally just open, and like the half of it has been ripped off. And there's tables that are open. There's skeletons inside. A sign hangs halfway down on it. It says the Orchard House, and there is a overpass where it looks like it says Sunny Slope Road. And it also says, let me make sure I get this right, Karcher Road, 3 miles.
What was that name? I'm sorry.
Karcher, Karcher.
Okay.
You guys might not find a vault. You might be like exploring the wastes.
Do we have any of those markers on our map?
Yes, you have a map. Sunny Slope Road is a major north-south highway, and Karcher Road is the east-west highway. It's also marked as Highway 55.
Every time you mention a new location, that sound effect just plays in my head.
Yeah.
No,
No, it's that like that, like revealing in the dust sound.
yeah.
All right, what do you all do?
Okay, I mean, so like on the map that we have, it's got these. Does it show where the vault is in relation?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, to clarify that it is on that east-west highway, Karcher Road.
It's on the east-west. Okay.
Yeah, US 55.
Right, east or west, I guess I should say.
It shows it about 3 miles to the east of the intersection of Karcher Road and Sunny Slope Road.
Okay. If you know, so like you know, the intersection is about 3 miles north of us, and then the vault is roughly 3 miles to the east of that. What is the path if we were to take the hypotenuse of that triangle? What does that look like? Can we see, or do y'all want to stay on the roads and just go, you know, 3 miles north and 3 miles over?
Well, anything that cuts our
okay
travel
doing
time would probably be best. Also,
Of note, you can
Because we don't
travel
wanna be out
7
of here too
miles a
long.
day if you're not delayed.
I'm okay doing the road, but I think the cutting the corners is better.
And I mean, and so I guess like you know, if we were to kind of go northeast to kind of cut that route, what does the terrain look like? I guess
Right.
is what I'm at.
If you look out to the northeast, yeah, I'll kind of re-describe it. You've got it's not much different than what I've already described because it's only about 1.5 miles, but you're right next to that highway now. Of note, and I mentioned this before, like you're like, oh, well, we have a map. This world looks nothing like the old world. This place is a mess. Their stuff is destroyed. Roads are ripped up. They're covered in dirt. Some roads are literally warped, like superhighway structures will be turned up on themselves. Buildings are wrecked. You know, this is just nothing looks like it did before. So you have that urban ruin that kind of stretches on into the glowing mists on the other side of the highway to your west. To your east, you have the glowing mists, which you just came from. To the north, the road continues to the north into the mist. To the northeast, mists. To the southeast, mists. So you kind of have this road, right? And you've got the ruined urban parts that are on the other side of the road. And then just mists and wastes around that, 180 degrees. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably sticking to the roads is safer bet.
Okay. I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, that's, you know, roughly 6 miles, which is. And what time of day are we?
It is morning.
Morning. Okay, so we could make that, you know, a little bit before end of day. So I don't know that the time savings from going, you know, cutting the you know, northeast is necessarily that much of a benefit versus, you know, staying on the roads.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. Okay, so you follow the road to the north. It becomes hard to follow because the road becomes elevated and it goes up into like it's on those huge support pillars. You know, go up and then it turns into a highway and it curves off to the east and then it loops back around and there's an interchange. Part of the interchange is collapsed. But you know, I assume that you're trying to kind of follow this road to the north, and then if it at some point it starts to angle to the northeast, you're trying to go in that direction. That's your dead reckoning. So you're heading that way. It is possible to get lost because of how ruined these roads are. And let me check. Let's see. It is now midday. Let me see about that. Okay. Wait. Oh, I have this wrong. I'm going to do that over because actually, I'll just look at the first one. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Doesn't matter because they're both bad. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody. Here we are again. This thing. There are 2d4. Wow. Okay. Horace, please roll 2d10.
Okay.
Let me make sure that I have that right. I'm pretty sure that you roll against one another.
Now, if it's for surprise, I would impose a -3 penalty on them.
Yes.
Okay, but I don't get any bonus on mine. It's just so 6 is what I throw.
Let's see if I can find this. Um, 2d10. And you got a 6.
Yep. Not good.
That is not good.
I agree.
That is also not good. Okay. You are traveling along this road. You're trying to parallel it. And you encounter a group of rocks, and these things are everywhere. So to try to stay inside of the road, you start clambering on these rocks. All of a sudden, you hear a slapping, wet, like plopping sound. And you hear a bunch of them. And then all of a sudden, they start getting really fast. And within 10 feet of you, around these rocks, you see something coming around the rocks. Loud, wet, plopping sounds. Need to change their size. Do it this way. For 10 yards, sorry. These things are right here, and they're at 10 yards. And they get a free round of movement and attacks as these things surprise you. What a nightmare. Okay, this dude.
Oh no.
I'm gonna give some feedback on this. Oh no. Okay, well, I haven't done the reaction roll. Maybe that'll be good. Maybe it'll be fine.
Right.
They're bringing lunch, you guys.
Sure.
They have sandwiches.
They stop. They they're flopping like these fleshy things through the sand, dragging parts of their mutated bodies. Oh, by the way, this is what they look like. There are 5 of these things.
Hello, centaurs.
And they stop and they look surprised and they look at you. They stop and they look at you. What do you do?
Say this with the best intentions, but I think it's best if we might slowly back away.
I'm okay with that, but wait, who's our demolitions expert? Is that Nostromo or?
Yeah. That's strong.
Okay. Yeah, might be needing getting ready to frag them.
Okay,
So I am.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say let's try and back up a little, without turning our backs on them, obviously.
Like, I specifically think we need to slowly back up and do not move to provoke any kind of predator response right now.
Okay.
We also-
Rations?
Because we
Anybody
also
want to throw some?
I was gonna say, we don't know if these things are wild or not. If I know Fallout, that might mean mutants are nearby.
Oh, who?
Does anybody?
Go ahead.
I have animal husbandry, if that would help.
This is definitely not an animal.
I know it's not. I was saying it.
Ryan,
maybe
you were saying something. What do you?
help.
I was gonna say, does anybody want to throw rations? I got to pull out my beef jerky stick, like my remaining one.
I've got 6 days left, so I could sacrifice one if you want me to.
Okay. You throw the jerky on the ground, and a couple of things happen. First of all, one of them just launches toward it, and some of them just start they ram their face into the ground, and you get the impression that for one of them, their head and their face, what looks like their head and their face, is just an appendage. It's not a head or a face. It's just like a vestigial appendage, and their brain is somewhere else down in there. It's just like slapping its head on the ground. Sorry,
Ew,
guys.
God.
It's Fallout.
That's terrible.
We have to do this. We're here.
Oh my gosh,
we're
centaurs are so gross.
It's like how Muppet eats or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Almost kept going with that one, and no, we don't want to.
No,
Man, for some reason, we don't want to go any further with the Muppet thing. But anyways,
I'm eating pie right now. Please don't.
It's gonna get worse. I'm sorry. You just mute for a second. So two of them, they see that you throw food, and one of them just starts like a Doberman, just starts heading towards you, and then another one tackles that one in the attempt to try to get to the food, and because it gets knocked over, it makes this squeal noise, and they start making two of them make these other squeal noises, and they descend on the one that was coming towards you, who is bigger, and they just start eating him, and then they start eating one of each other, and then the other one's eating some food. You have some time.
Him. Then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god.
Let's continue to back up. I think.
Yep, our work here's done.
Maybe.
That one you fed is gonna follow us like a lost dog.
Yeah. Don't feed the grizzly bears. But
All right. So you're able to back away. You're confident at this point that you've gained plenty enough distance. These things cannot catch up to you. Your movement rate is... Oh, this is why. Okay, it makes more sense when I think about the movement rate. You get the sense that these things... Oh, never mind. Pretty bad. No, they are fast. It's really horrifying. I don't know what to say about that. Let's see here. Back to this. Okay, so you back away. It is now evening of the second day. And let's see here. On the evening of the second day, you see a familiar place. It's dark outside. In fact, I'm just going to put you on the tactical map to show you, and you don't have to do anything with it, but this is basically where you're at now. These roaches are gone. I'm going to get rid of those. This thing has been eaten into a smear in the ground at this point. You're on a ruined highway and you recognize these buildings around you. Now, it's getting late at night. Let me describe what you can see in the dark. The mists have cooled down, but it's getting dark outside. Behind you, you can see wastes for miles and miles to the south. To the west, you have the highway that you have followed now, and it's curved now for miles. To the east, this highway continues on to the east. And on the other side of this, you see what's on this map to the north, which is a bunch of ruined buildings. Horace, what do you all do?
I would suggest we try and find an empty building to camp for the night. Because I think if, from the map that we have, the vault should be about a mile from this location, roughly. So that would give us plenty of time to get there and explore the vault tomorrow.
Okay.
And if we have any other...
Yeah. Yeah.
How,
Go ahead.
how are we doing on rations and stuff?
I mean, I still have a week's left for me.
I have about 3 days.
I have 6 days left. I didn't sacrifice the one. I never really threw one. You threw that, and they started eating each other. So I've got enough to go around if need be.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm out.
Yeah, I'll give you one then.
Okay. Thank you. I also have an IFAC. Putting it out there.
All right. What do you all think about this plan of checking window buildings? As part of that, you see multiple closed doors on buildings. There's one here and here and here. There's a bunch of buildings with doors and alleyways, so you can take your pick.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's all right. You all, supposed to frame the situation. Do you want to avoid the buildings, or Horace is suggesting actually let's find a building and let's hunker down there?
Yeah, I'm good with that. And if we like find anything, I have the ability to like find more of stuff. So looking through a building might not be too bad for shelter.
Yeah,
and
I feel like because also if it's a building with a set of stairs, we can always post ourselves up on a higher floor. So any form of like attacker would have to go up the stairs to get us.
I should note then you can see second-story buildings from where you are if that's your plan. There is a second-story building back here behind this alley.
Was that warehouse that we had
That's right. Well,
okay.
Actually, you don't know that. It's back in that area. There's a second-story building back there. It does look ramshackle though, kind of like a warehouse. But then you'll have to go in the alleyways.
Yeah, I mean, do y'all want to go into that structure for the night?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make our way north and east to that.
Wherever we go, we got to make sure we take time to investigate everything we can find in the building so we don't have any nasty surprises come up on us.
Is there like a way to like scavenge material from these buildings? If usable wood or usable metal scrap that we could then bring back and either use to build structures or to sell for scrap or sell for caps.
So scrap is a type of treasure in this game, actually. It's almost like getting it's something I roll on the treasure table. So you'll look for it in the same way as in Dungeons and Dragons, just like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, as if you were looking for treasure. I'll try to describe objects, and you bring that up if I forget, and I'll tell you, that doesn't really count as scrap, or my bad, yes, I'm presenting scrap, like old fans and bits of office supplies and bric-a-brac, and I'll be like, yeah, that's 10 pounds of scrap, or whatever. Yeah, that's actually a form of treasure. Okay. Great question. Okay, so let's see, you can move 90 feet per turn. So the first thing is you get up here and there's no alley. So actually I won't cheat you out of that. You kind of look ahead here. There is a car that's crashed into a building up ahead. But otherwise there's only this alley and the alleys behind you. You don't see a way around, or else you'd you'd move on like a mile up the road if you wanted. So do you want to go up this alley, go in this building, this alley, this building, or do you want to keep going down the road further?
Well, I mean, I think we know. Well, I'm not sure if I know, but I mean, I think there was a path on that alley to the west of us
Okay.
Where that leads up by the post office and.
Okay. Let's see. So that's one turn.
And then we would go east from there, I think.
All right. Horace, roll 2d10 and apply your surprise benefit.
Okay.
You make it to your friendly neighborhood post office. The door has been ripped off the hinges. You hear something familiar and awful inside. You hear growling noises. Inhuman and yet human.
I'm assuming, can we tell that these are ghouls?
They sound like those things that you fought before.
Yeah. Well, ain't this just getting better and better with each past second?
Yeah, and last time we decided to try to take this stealthily. I think we're better equipped now, but I'm just saying, keep that trigger finger itchy, yeah?
Yeah.
I
We're not doing the get up close and stealth them. If we engage them, it's.
I put in the RP. I was gonna sell my pistols, and I bought a heavy pistol. I just take that out. Yep.
There are a lot of growling noises, and you can tell they hear you, and you can hear them shuffling towards you.
Oh no.
Okay, well, let's try and find. Do we want to kind of like take a position where where they can only go get at us one at a time? Like if we use that alley as a choke point.
Want a bottleneck?
Yeah, we could book it for the door to the east, and then see if we can get in and shut the door.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you go towards this door to the east. It does not appear to be locked. Who wants to open it?
Turns out that's a nest of death claws.
I can open it. I have a crossbow, so it's quiet.
This is a nest of death claws. Are like, I quit. This is a stupid game. Stupid.
No,
All right,
it's just.
Spittler, you open the door. It's unlocked. Nothing happens. You see inside what looks like a kind of maintenance garage with a forklift and stuff.
Okay. I think we should go in and try and barricade this door for one, and then
All right, how do you barricade it?
what kind of material is in this that we could push in front of this door?
Sure. There are some heavy wooden crates and also some large tough box type crates and storage things. If you were to try to move those, it will make a lot of noise and scrape across the ground, but they would be very heavy and they would bar the door, and anybody trying to get in would need to make a strength check.
Does your Brahmin fit in the door?
Yeah, we'll say the Brahmin fits in the door.
I
Can
can
we just push the Brahmin against the door? Can we make it stand there?
They just gotta go cow tipping.
Yeah, I mean
I-
that's a big cow.
Yeah,
I've got an idea.
Go ahead, Nostromo. But yeah.
Before you put stuff on the door, what about I just throw the 2 explosives I made outside, and when they're near, I detonate them, and then we barricade this thing.
Do we want to keep those?
Would we be able to? I guess I'm okay with that. But would there be enough material in here? Would you be able to manufacture some more explosives overnight?
I'm going to say that's a non-adventure activity, so it has to be done with him having the safety and the time and stuff to do it.
That's okay.
Takes a day.
Alternatively, I can just use one.
How many do you have? Just the 2?
2.
The only reason I would, well, that could work, but the thing is, we might need those for the ball.
Yeah, and it's super loud at night. We don't want to attract anything, and visible.
I love that idea, but sounds like we're not doing it, and that's okay. And let me describe a few other things here. We've got also an office door up here, and there is a forklift right here. You have probably 15 seconds to decide before they get here. What do you all do?
Let's push the forklift. Like hop on, see if there's a brake set, unset it, and just roll it back, and then just set the brake.
That works. You're easily able to just knock it into neutral and then roll it back and put it against this, and there's no way that anything's going to get through that door.
I was gonna say, don't tell me this thing's got a kill switch.
You hear the noises outside for a while. They sort of curiously meander around. It is nerve-wracking, but eventually they wander off. What do you do next?
Well, do we want to go look in that, check that office door and see if anything's in there? And
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think we're gonna. I mean, ultimately, I think based on the time, we're gonna basically camp here for the night as well.
All right. Who wants to open the door?
I can open it as well. How high are like the boxes and stuff? Never mind.
They're probably up 15 feet high at the most. There's kind of like two different racks with a second rack. Sometimes there are things on the second rack going up to 15 feet. Otherwise, they're kind of like just above man level on the middle rack. Yeah. And inside here, when you open the door, you see a charred body, an overturned bucket, a ruined bathroom, a bunch of toilet paper that looks like something made a nest out of, and some sinks that probably still work, because the old world sure knew how to make them. And lastly, he's clutching a bunch of valuable possessions. It looks like he's got a box, like a tin box, and a pistol in his hand.
If I see this, can I ascertain what kind of pistol it might be?
It's a light handgun.
All right, let's go start checking it out.
Okay. The tin box or container clinks loudly when you lift it, and it's very, very heavy. Actually, it's like, this thing is like, I don't know, 30 pounds, 25 pounds or something. You're like, oh man, like it's full of heavy stuff.
Personal lock boxes,
And the pistol, he has on him 5 magazine rounds, and it is a light handgun.
Okay.
I have the ability to find a D6 plus level in gathered materials. Would this count?
Oh yeah,
What,
yeah,
magazines?
yeah. Roll for it. No, you'd get something other than that. Roll your D6 plus 1.
Yeah, so 2 total.
2. Okay. You find 2 pounds of scrap. The useful scrap that you find. Or is that what? Actually, what does it say? I don't want to cheat you out of that. It says useful materials.
Yeah, so any gathered materials, like stuff I scavenge, I get to find a D6 plus my level more of those, just not caps.
That's awesome. It's like yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. It's like the perk in Fallout, yeah. So you find that many more rounds, that's right. Or magazines, sorry.
Okay, so 2 more, so 7 total magazines.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And we can, somebody want to be the group treasurer? I'll give you 100 XP if somebody will be the group treasurer. Nobody?
Sure,
Oh,
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to say, he could also be a resident caravan man because he has all the space in the world with all of his sacks.
Sack man.
So we've got how many pounds? 2 pounds of scrap, you said, and then.
No, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the ability. So he found 2 more magazines for a total of 7 magazines of light ammunition, 10 mil. You find a light handgun, and then there's a heavy tin container.
Is the container locked?
It is locked, but it has a really one of those really simple lock things. You could easily break it. If you break it, the lock will no longer work. And you don't have to roll for it if you choose to break it. Or if somebody wants to lockpick it, you could try to conserve the lock.
Well, I don't think we have any bastards in the party, so that have that.
All right.
That are with that. So
you want to break it?
I mean, I have a crowbar, so I'm.
Oh yeah, you don't have to roll for it. Yeah, you can. This doesn't even take a crowbar. You do that,
Okay.
and then and this guy has got like 500 caps. Like he's just like hoarded a bunch of caps and went back in here, and something happened.
Nice. Whoa. I would suggest. I mean, if the plumbing is working, let's start gathering. I think we've got 2 people with water filters. That's 2 gallons
I
of
also
water.
I also have a water filter as well, so I think that's 3 people with water filters.
If you put it on your Brahmin, I'll make you a deal. You don't just have water for the next day. You have it for like the adventure for the week, unless you get lost and end up.
I mean, I don't know how much weight should I treat that as for.
We could say 50 pounds on the Brahmin. Can it carry 50 pounds?
I mean, I think so. I mean, it can carry up to 250, and I do have to go back and.
You can always dump water, right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
So okay, you find some containers in here and things to put some gross, nasty potable water. You put it through the filter so that if you have to have potable water, you can use it. And the night passes, and the next day. Because whoops, I'm in the wrong place. It's those people again. I'm just kidding.
Surprise.
Okay. You are back on the highway. So you've got the highway goes east-west. You've got these ruined towns and broken roads to the north, and the wastes all the way to your south, 180 degrees. What do you do, Horace?
Wait, hang on a second. Wait. Okay, wait. I think we want to go north because I think, if I recall that map correctly, the vault was about, a mile north of the post office area.
I know why you say that because I pointed out that road, but that curves. So the map indicates that it's a mile to the east on the road. I don't want to hide that from you.
Okay. Okay.
Because I was the one that said it, and you have it. So yeah.
Yeah. So then we will go towards the east then.
Okay. Let's see. This is a road. Okay. You travel east on the road until midday. You're not exactly sure how far it is, but eventually you come to a place where the highway has sunken in, and there's this long landslide that's just dirt and stuff that's covered up, and cars are jutting up like the backsides of cars from this long landslide. There's a bunch of stones, chunks of highway and stuff that it's as if the city had been wadded up into a paper ball and then pushed down, and it's just a wad of urban sprawl with stone and dirt. And this goes down 200 feet down into this big defile, and you can see down there's a bunch of cars, and there is a big giant, Horace would recognize it. This is a vault entrance. It's got that big symbol, and it's this big, powerful steel thing. And then it's just like a mound of earth, that goes up from there, back onto the back side of it.
There it is. Let's start making our way down to it. Is the door? Can we tell if the door is open at this point or not?
The door is not open.
Okay.
It is closed. You see the familiar massive entrance that is a Vault-Tec. I'm sorry, you said you were a kid, but I think you would recognize this well enough. The symbol of Vault-Tec. It was on your parents' outfits and everything. Whatever your relationship with that is. And it's got this huge cog-like entrance. And you have codes. And there is a keypad here.
Okay. Well, I will go up and start typing in the codes in the entry.
As he does this, I have my gun out at the ready, pointed at this door.
Likewise, I have my handgun out just in case something wants to pop up and get all froggy.
It's here that Ross reveals this is where they bred death claws.
That is a
The whole fault. Just death claws. No caps.
Just the eyes.
Hey, look, I'm just saying there are intelligent death claws, so maybe we'll get lucky.
Hey, they'll be really chill guys. You know, they're all cool monks and stuff. Oh, that'd be great.
Okay, so. Gosh dang it. Where is it? Give me a second here. There we go. So, you put in the code, it makes this awful loud screeching noise. This thing is incredibly loud, and then this thing, like, you see hissing, and there's a change in pressure between the inside and outside air, and this thing leaves the front, and then it rolls off to the side, and you can see darkness and metal. Inside there is you can see that there are lights still working, some kind of emergency lights. And it looks like some sort of control mechanism or something for the door. That's what you can see from where you are. What do you do?
Does anybody have a flashlight by chance?
Let me check my stuff.
I do not.
I do not.
Okay.
Hilarious enough, I thought about buying one, and then I was like, nah, I don't think we need one for right now.
Well, nobody can see in the dark, so that'll be interesting.
This is when we turn back and just go, you know what? We'll go buy a flashlight.
To be fair, I imagine I imagine somewhat like we've been scribbling on like this map or whatever, a proper route here. So by all accounts, we have a route here now. So we can probably explore a little bit of it and then head back. Because that way we can, re-up of where we need to re-up. Some of us don't have enough rations. We clearly have made a good enough payday since that box had 500 caps in it and split between us. That's easy rent.
Or we could go in.
Well,
I mean,
I think what he meant was explore like some of the stuff we can see in right
how
now.
how much light from outside with the door open is kind of penetrating in? Can we?
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Do we have anything shiny for like a Indiana Jones mirror up in this piece?
Well, I was gonna say, okay, weird question, weird theory. Could we possibly maybe wait till morning and kind of just explore as the sun is setting? Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it'll only kind of have this 60-degree angle, and I can describe what you can see. You can see well enough in the shadows. You can see that there's a catwalk. There's some stairs that go up to the catwalk, and then here is the control panel. The rest of this is the door mechanism. The light of the sun will not penetrate anywhere further into the back of the room from beyond that. It is dark.
All right. Do we have anybody with technical skills that might be able to use that terminal to maybe see if we could restore some power or light?
I don't think so, Vault Boy. Our best bet is you.
I do have. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I have Artifact Appraiser and Bunker Dweller. Those are probably and Armor Smith, but those are my only.
You can attempt to do a Vault Dweller. I'll call it a Vault Dweller 2d10 plus 1, plus your intelligence.
That's not going to help. So that's going to be, let's see, I think 2d10 even, because I have a minus to my intelligence.
Ooh.
So.
You want to have the standard target number, which I think is 11.
Hey, there we go, 13.
You're able to look at the control panel, and you think you can just bring up like some emergency lights in the nearby security and control rooms. So I will bring those up. And it doesn't look like that. Give me a second here. It looks more like this.
Okay.
And you find those in a few of... Oh. What the... Hold on.
Am I able to get any sort of information about the vault from this terminal?
No, this is an analog, like, it makes sense to have like lighting controls, but this is the gatekeeper. This is not a digital console.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of cautiously go to the.
Y'all are gonna think I'm lying. So yeah, let me tell you what you see in here first, okay? There are a bunch of boxes, wooden crates and stuff. They seem in good condition. There is a whole bunch of trash. It seems to almost be, and there's a goopy, nasty stuff that's seeping out from underneath the catwalk. And then there's a door. And then there's these emergency lights. There's nothing else of interest in the room. What do?
Do we want to go crack open some wooden crates first?
I feel like that's a wonderful idea.
Okay, well, let's do that. Yeah. So yeah, we will kind of come back and see what we can find.
All right, you spend a turn doing that. You don't find anything of value in the crates. Let me see here. And then you hear something on the other side of this door.
I don't like that.
I
don't like hearing things from other sides of door. Yeah, like...
I'm just glad it's not Red Roaches coming from that puddle of trash, so...
I need help with this. No, I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Just at that moment, me and you realize that we're just Vincent and Jules.
I'm saying, like, as soon as we hear the noises, we're just immediate, just unholstered.
Yeah, we saw what happened to what's his face a minute ago. We ain't letting that happen again.
Exactly.
You hear a person talking. You hear muttering, clapping of feet back and forth, back and forth. No, you don't understand. No. No one ever did. No one. My elf is a masterpiece. You hear da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, tapping back and forth, and then near the door. And then Ilaria Star Whisper, born of the twin moons of Arendor. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then like tapping feet back and forth. And then you hear giggles. No.
Oh my
She was alive. Her story, it was tapestry on starlight and sorrow, you see. For she was born an orphan and da-da-da-da-da. And you hear tapping and then it goes away and then goes back. You hear this stuff like muttering and stuff on the other side of the door.
Is this a Vault-Tec project where they lock one person in a vault and force them to read Tolkien for like 50 years?
All right.
Hey man, there's worse experiments.
You hear some more. She trained with the blade singers of Kelathar, of the dance of the crescent blade against the 5 moons, and then like da-da-da-da.
So it follows the pattern of he's saying something out loud, or she, or whatever the voice is, tapping on what sounds like probably a terminal or a typewriter.
Nope, just someone pacing back and forth, sometimes giggling, and then sometimes getting really into whatever this thing is they're talking about. A very low testosterone male voice.
Do we hear it coming from this door up here?
Yes, on the other side of that door.
I'm gonna point to Judge and Spittler. Judge, get your handgun out. I'll flank one side of the door. You flank the other. Spittler, get your crossbow ready to shoot a motherfucker on sight.
I've already got my.
All right.
I already got my pistol out. We'll be ready to send them to the Lord if something goes wrong here, and then we'll take everything they got.
Okay.
So I imagine me and Judge flank the door while Spittler is like set up in a way that he doesn't get blasted if we open this door.
All right, who opens it then?
One of the ones on the side, like crack it open and I'll open it.
Well, it's a vault door. Oh yeah, hello.
And then let's see, I gotta. And you see someone. Let me show them. Looks. They have crazy looking eyes. Their hair's wild. They've got a tattered vault suit on. And they're like, oh, wonderful, wonderful. You can join me in the Chronicles.
Gun fully drawn.
And they're touchy. They like come forward and they're just like wanting to just touch you.
As soon as he comes forward, I immediately go, whoa. Keep your distance, feller. We won't stay right there.
It's fine. I know you're not a reformist. I know. We keep the Chronicles. Tell me about yours. Well, actually, don't do that. Let me tell you about mine. And then he gets out some sheets of paper and he's like, so anyways, as I was telling you about, I already forgot her name. Ilaria Star Whisperer, you see, blade singer of Kelathar. She trained under the 5 moons, and there was the prophecy. Ah, yes, the prophecy. And he goes on like this, just kept talking about it.
I will totally take this man at his word and just try to seem so deeply interested, draw him into where we are.
Yeah.
Out of the room he was in, just to in case we got to jump him, we can shut the door.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
works.
oh please, I've never heard of this person.
That works, and they are so excited to tell you about Ilaria Star Whisperer, and they just keep going. The thing about the blade singers of Kelathar is that every strike of their 2 blades with 4 edges is like a prayer. Every parry is a poem. They train for 200 years before their first battle, you see. And he just keeps going and going like this. This now lasts a turn and makes a lot of noise.
At some point, I would have pulled out my. It just says a blade. Do I specify what it is? Because it's not a normal sword as it's called. That's a different item. It's just a blade. I don't know what counts as a blade.
Yes.
I was thinking machete, but
yeah, that's also what I was thinking. I'm gonna pull out my blade and basically just at some point, because just listening. Would this be an adequate blade for your blade singer?
Yes, that would be great. Do you give it to him?
Oh God, no.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Like, we're not gonna give weapons to this. Like, this entire time, I've got my gun just trained.
He
on
keeps
him
going,
right now, like-
and he's like, so the prophecies, she didn't ask for it. She didn't want the burden that was put on her by her heritage, you see. She wanted to be free. She had her own ideas that, you see, but the Void King was rising. And this goes on for another 10 minutes and makes a lot of noise. What do you do?
Okay. I'm holding up like a full like chokehold maneuver like behind him. Like,
Oh, you're gonna do it? Are you gonna choke him out?
I'm like waiting until he looks at the blade, and then I'm like doing a chokehold, and I'm like, oh.
I give you like the biggest nod of your life. This guy needs, please.
Okay, yeah, I'll just wrap this dude up in a chokehold and let's like, go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Do you have any skills related to this?
I was a farmer and a miner, so
all right,
I'm pretty tough.
To the special section, and
it would be a might, I think.
Here's what
strength.
You need to make an attack. It's from behind, so it's +2. It is a subdual damage. Do you have unconscious subduing damage? And yeah, let's just start.
Please, other people
chucking
help.
2d10. You want to get an 11.
He's a +2, yes, that's an 11.
Yes. Okay, so yes, that's an 11. And then you are using an empty hand wrestling. And what is the damage of an empty hand? I can't. Anybody have that?
I think it's 2.
Okay. All right. That happens for 1 round, and then you have him restrained. And then he starts like trying to get out of it. And he's like, Memoria Star Whisperer! And it starts kicking. He slams you against the wall and everything. And this makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, no. As soon as he's gonna start resisting, I imagine me and Jesse start like pummeling him to knock him out.
Okay.
Just straight up.
Everybody just
straight up
beats
heavy.
this poor bastard.
Just like heavy.
Sucks.
Like, I take my heavy pistol, just grab a chunk of his hair, and just go, good night, fella.
Okay.
We're not killing him. This is non-lethal. This is for sure non-lethal.
That's 2 damage from 2, which is enough, and it's subdual, and you knock him out.
Jeez.
He,
Is he wearing Pip-boy?
Sleep. I just like pat his head. Sleep tight, feller. Hope your little blade singer treats you well in your dreams. You all right, fella?
And then we immediately looting him.
Okay, yeah, let me see what he's got on him.
Strip him down to his dirty drawers. I don't care.
Whoa. I don't think you want anything that he's wearing.
I don't think so.
Let's see here.
It's just a bunch of papers with this goddamn blade singer chick in it.
Just has a bunch of anime characters. What's wrong?
All of it's about like Red Sonja for some reason.
For some reason.
He's been writing very, very in-depth Conan fan fiction.
This is just Robert E. Howard manifestos. What the hell is this? You know what? I'm gonna keep them. They're Robert E. Howard.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good. Pass them over here.
Yo, is that Thulsa Doom right here? Damn.
What is a Thu? Uh-oh.
All right. He has... Oh. Nope. He has nothing of interest on him.
Hey, man.
He doesn't have a Pip-boy on his arm?
All those rolls to say nothing of interest.
I think... So there's red light that's shining in here, but there's something interesting. It's diffuse with other light behind it.
So, I'll like look over the catwalk at the rest of the fellers down there. So Wild Man, full unconscious. I think we're chill though.
I don't think he's gonna mind when he wakes up, if I'm being honest.
He might just tell us more about his story.
Yeah,
He'll tell us
that's the
more.
worst case scenario.
He'll tell us more about his story because he's probably having a dream living it right now.
All right, what do you all do next?
Let's put him in a box.
You could do that. You can put him in a
Put him
box.
in a crate.
Oh my
Put him in a
God.
crate.
Put that boy in a crate.
This
We're
poor
just-
guy. He just wanted to share his fanfic. That's all.
We're gonna be sitting at the settlement like, did we forget something?
And put a box on top of it too, so he
Here.
can't get out.
Oh my God.
And
We're
we
gonna
cannot
kill
forget
him.
this man. We can't forget him.
I've played enough of these games to know you're going to forget him, but let's go on to the next. What do you do next?
guess we go
Let's
to
go
the-
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you aren't going to believe me, but actually, is it? What?
Gloria Starsinger herself.
I like how even if it's not D and
How
D,
big is this friggin' room?
Sorry,
like how
I
you-
actually have this wrong.
I like how even though it's not D and D, the party still remains to be a group of psychopaths.
Well, we didn't kill him, so we're not psychopaths, Jesse.
We're putting him in a crate.
Well, I didn't put him in the crate.
We could have slit his throat. I mean,
All right,
It might have been more merciful.
here we go. That's the emergency lighting. So you've cast the whole place in emergency lighting. I thought it was actually lit, but I was wrong. I looked at it again. So there's a door here, and then the corridor continues on. This is like a power substation, but it is broken and clearly not working.
first door. We got to check it.
Second, imagine the same maneuver as we did before. I flank with my gun, Jesse flanks with the other.
Yes.
Spittler is with the crossbow.
Spittler pretends to be deeply interested in whatever they're talking about.
Horace, what were you saying?
Don't hear anything on the other side of this door.
Okay, you can take the time to do that. Roll a
Yeah.
2d10. Sorry.
All right. Is this
If he does that, can I peek around the...
is this observation?
Yeah, you'd add observation. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I have a
Any
minus
relevant
one
skill.
Oh.
You hear nothing on the other side of that door,
Okay.
except a tinny. You hear music, like a tooting kind of sound, but it's kind of low, and then you hear. Well, I don't know about that, Sam. I think that we'll just have to blah, 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 blah. And you hear like this dialogue, and then like, I've never seen a horse quite like that. And then pow, pow, pow. And you hear like little gunfire, but it's like little tinny fake gunfire, and da-da-da-da, you know. You hear that on the other side of the door, and that's it.
So I know this is gonna sound weird, but does it sound like it's over a PA system, or is it like?
It sounds like it's coming from a device, but it's small. Like it doesn't sound very loud.
like a radio maybe. All right. I guess I'll open the door this time.
I got my gun ready. I am flanking.
I
that
see
door.
guns.
Wait, guns?
Ooh.
The weapons here in this guard room, watch room, are ruined.
Damn.
However, there are components. If anybody has like a special skill where they can repair guns.
I have marksman, but I don't think that would work.
I have artifact appraiser. I don't think that'll do much of it.
Yeah,
Oh, I have
I'm-
scavenger. I have that.
Scavenger. Does it say what that does? Because I don't want to cheat you out of something. But
Not much. It's up to what I can reason. So
okay. Well,
I'm gonna try to reason that maybe I can. My experience as a scavenger, I can figure out what parts are good and what parts are like worthwhile or stuff like that.
I actually completely agree with that. You find 40 pounds of scrap worth of gun materials, but these are gun materials that could be used to mod a gun if you could pay a gunsmith or have someone with the skill, and it could make the guns more
Absolutely.
powerful. Yeah.
Right.
And anyways, there is a TV in here playing a loop of a spaghetti western. there are some papers on a table, and some dice and grid paper.
Oh, they're playing a little advanced Dungeons and Dragons in here.
Nerds.
No, this is Fallout, so it's copyright, so it's got to be Advanced Dragons and Dungeons.
Actually, let's be so for real, Jesse. You know what it actually is? They're playing GURPS.
They're fantasy.
Oh my God. Kill them all.
One of the papers has a big scrawl marks on it and big letters and is covered in blood. And there's spatters of blood on the table where there's dice and miniatures.
Well, damn, the DM pissed someone off.
There is, I think, nothing else of interest in this room that you can see from where you are.
Are those lockers over there, Ross?
There are containers. You look at them, you look inside of them, they're empty. This computer is completely broken. In fact, the screen is shattered. It looks like there was violence in here.
So I know this is gonna sound kind of weird, but can I walk over to that spaghetti western thing? Like, is it a holotape? Like, cause I think in like Fallout, the holotapes are what? They're kind of like VCRs.
Yeah, they're like VHS kind of in a way.
Yep. You get a holotape of a spaghetti western.
I'm gonna see if that's worth anything when we're back in town.
If someone you
It
can
has to
do
be
that
sold.
now, either someone that has the appraise, not appraise, but yeah, somebody has artifact appraiser. You could.
I think 3 of us do.
I just look back at Daniel's kid. I look back at Norm. I'm like, hey, ranger.
Go ahead and roll a 2d10 though. Like, either way.
Of course.
Would that be with would an intelligence or intellect bonus apply on that, or?
Yes.
So I'm not going to roll it.
For me, it's a 13 plus 1 because I'm an artifact appraiser, so 14.
Do you think that this would be worth 100 bottle caps? But if you find the right buyer that's like, interested in this as like an item, it could be worth like, hundreds of bottle caps.
Bare minimum, Judge, you get about 100 off that. You get a good shopper though, you probably swindle him with some real big money.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll be keeping this then.
All right, Horace, roll a 2d10. Let me see here. You hear a voice in the hallway as you're sifting around through this stuff. Someone is like, they're like, what is it? Aloria Star Whisper? Aloria!
Oh my God.
I'm going to kind of like motion everybody like front out and
They said I was a lawyer. I understand. They said I'm the problem. They're the problem. They ruin everything. They said I hate fun. Those gremlins. And you just hear this person like muttering to themselves, and they're like pacing around outside.
Oh my gosh, he's the rules lawyer. That's so funny. We should kill him.
Oh, kill the rules lawyer. Okay.
Were there any polyhedral dice or rule books on the table?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! I'm just piecing together. That's what the first guy was referencing.
Yep.
Holy
Do you look
crap.
at the table?
Well, not at the moment, because I think we're getting ready to have somebody come in, so we might have to,
Well, actually, I have an idea.
What's that?
Ross, I'm gonna, because would you say there's a book that definitely a book in which this hobbyist would quite enjoy on this table?
Oh yeah.
You know, there's maps. Great. I'm gonna grab that book, and I'm literally going to fling it into the hallway as a distraction, because I have, you know, and if this is now two separate people referencing whatever the hell this book is, they must really find it important. So I'm going to chuck it into the hallway to distract whoever it is and see if they, they lunge for it.
Oh my god, this vault just was a TTRPG experiment.
It's a convention. They shut the door.
Jesse, you know what it is? It's the vault that had the musicians where they pumped LSD into the air, into the freaking vents, except instead of artists, it's people who played during
there is I can't help but show you this what's scrawled and like big marker on a note here. And then you take the rule book, and this thing is giant, 600-page tome, like this big.
Yeah.
And you just like toss it out, and you hear like you hear like rat noises, like, and then he skitters off.
Well, that happened.
God damn it. Why is this so funny?
I would immediately tell everyone about what I read in that note. Fellers, for as much as I would love to continue exploring this vault, I feel like we've gotten enough scrap right now, because it's about like a day and a half trip to get back. Yeah, about like 2 days. How about we go ahead, gather what we can now, maybe explore one more room, and then get the fuck up out of here, because it seems as though we got crazy people in here.
And I agree. And I think on the way out, we're definitely going to seal this door.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm okay with maybe exploring one more room.
The one sane person left's gonna see us closing the door.
Okay. You said you closed this door?
No, I meant the vault door at the front.
The vault door.
Okay.
Yeah, the vault door on the way out is what he was saying.
Yeah.
We need to seal it back. Is
Okay.
what he was saying.
All right.
I still think it's a good idea for us to close this door, though.
Okay.
All right. Where do you go next?
I guess the door at the end of the hallway.
Okay. You enter this room. There's nothing particularly of interest. I hate to tell you, these are just side tables. There is these are just empty. Nope, actually, I'm wrong. There is about 2 pounds of scrap here, because this is a clock. You find. Yeah, and then the same spaghetti western is playing on this this TV.
All right, so that one's not a holotape. That's an actual regular TV, so we can't get another one.
You can get a holotape out of it.
100%. I mean, yeah, grab the holotape immediately.
Okay.
How much is a TV worth?
Yeah, the TV is very heavy. It weighs like 75 pounds. These are big, chunky, giant cathode ray tube things. But if you can carry it, you left your Brahmin outside. But if you can carry this thing out, this thing would be worth like 200 caps probably.
Is there any sign of violence in this room?
Nope.
Okay.
Interesting.
You guys still have 30 more minutes if you want to explore. But if you return to town now, it will end the adventure. If you...
I feel like that'd be the best shout
say,
right now.
Is that a baseball bat? Or is that not fair?
I think that's just bric-a-brac. Maybe that's meant to be a baseball bat, but yeah, no. No, we'll say you found a baseball bat there. That makes sense.
I think it'd be a good idea for us to head back to things, because we got so much scrap right now. If I remember correctly, 30 pounds of it is weapon scrap that we can make into mods. I feel like that's a real good shout.
30 or 40 pounds?
What was it, Ross? 30 or 40 pounds of specifically gun scrap.
I thought it was 40 pounds.
40
but-
pounds, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
40
sorry.
pounds,
Yeah, 40 pounds of gun
We had
scrap.
2 pounds of general scrap out of this room. We got the 2 holotapes, 40 pounds of the gun modding material, and then essentially a week's worth of water, plus the 500 caps. And then I forgot about the possessions that the guy was carrying. I think he had 7 mags and a light handgun.
Yeah, so I feel like heading back and exchanging our stuff out for what we can find, because we're already ending the day on a high. We've been paid 500 caps between us, so that's easy money.
These guys have been weak so far. Like, I don't think they're in here doing push-ups.
Well, the thing is, though, we're still going into a vault, and the deeper we go, the more security systems are most likely going to be active.
Exactly, and also we could go ahead and make sure we're more prepared, since we know we definitely need some flashlights.
Well, we need flashlights, and we also need to get more rations, because there's a very good chance we might have to spend days down. So,
Hey, at least there's good beds.
All right.
again,
So
that's just, but again, group call or whatever they decide, it's just.
you guys thinking about heading back with your haul?
I think so. I'm okay with that.
All right. So you head out this door and immediately roll 2d10.
Whoops.
Are those actual rad roaches or those rad scorpions? Because last time those were rad scorpions.
12. So great. So you hear this and you just peek outside. This is kind of what happens. And there are these things. They're about the size of dogs. You hear one squeal and then they run off into the dark. And it looks like you see one has a hand. And
Like, in his mouth?
Mhm.
It's appendages, yeah.
And
I don't think people realize this, but rat roaches would be absolutely terrifying in real life.
100%. 100%.
That's a lot of protein. A lot of rations.
that's a lot of
Yeah,
protein.
I thank you, Ross. So I was gonna say that sounds like 100% not our fucking problem.
So you travel takes you. I agree, by the way, for whatever it's worth. I agree that. I mean, this is how I do it, but I do always present matter of factly, like, this is what you see. Tell me what you do. If somebody's got a map, but if you map and you know where you're going, then you just say, all right, we go here, we go here. You know how to get there now. If somebody mapped, if somebody has the details.
We
And
left
you're
that guy in the crate, didn't we?
You left the guy in the crate. I told you. So, because nobody mentioned it. So you return, and you realize this 2 days later when you get back, you're like, I left that guy in the crate. And you get back to Peaceful Valley,
Just 2 days later, casually, oh yeah, we left that guy in the crate.
and you go to Shoney Saloon, and you've got all of a sudden hundreds of caps among you.
Yes.
People start taking notice, but that is a story for another time, and that will end our adventure for the night. Attention, citizens. The following is an announcement from Vault-Tec Games Division. You have just heard an unapproved transmission from Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. They claim to be an online, international clubhouse that focuses on folk tabletop games. They claim that folk tabletop games are the games that belong to everyone, not a blog or brands or idealogues. Well, I don't know about you boys and girls, but that sounds an awful lot like those nasty Reds. So don't listen to those people. Keep playing games made by companies you rely on, the way we know it's right for you to play. After all, we proud American gaming companies have steered you right so far. The music, artwork, and games shown in these videos are mentioned in the description and not owned by Mythic Mountains Folk Tabletop Club. And be careful, boys and girls. People in your neighborhood might be playing those folk tabletop role-playing games even now. Why, they may even invite you to join. Vault-Tec will be there at your game table.